Good morning, gang. Joyce with Skipping Calves Farms here. I'm standing in the middle of my garden, just about in the middle. And this row here, over here, it's going to be peanuts. This row here is going to be okra. This mounded row here, I'm planning to put some more peanuts. But there was a bunch of grass growing up on the side. There's a bunch of grass growing up on the side up here. There's bunches of grass growing. See if I can see my finger right in here. You can see that was about 1 square foot of grass. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I counted 15 earthworms that came out of the roots of that grass while I pounded it. What I did was, I usually do a lot of things by prayer. And so when I decided to do this, I'm like, okay, wanted to plant some sorrel. I'm trying to do a lot of plantings along edges. You can kind of see this edge here. That's where I planted the flowers the other day. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Now, on the okra, there's weed cloth under here. On this, all I have is a cardboard path. And you can see the plantain here. And you can see the plantain and the other weeds there. What I did was I took this flat shovel that I had and kind of dug out and raised up this grass. Now most of this grass is probably fescue, which I'd love to have out there, but I don't want to have it in here, right? That's the definition of a weed to most people, is a plant growing when and where you don't want it to. But anyway, so after spending a little bit of time in prayer, I came through with the shovel and kind of dug up all of these, loosened up all of these grass patches. I left the plantain. Why? Plantain is as nutritious as spinach. Sheep will eat it. People can eat it. Chickens will eat it. It is a great plant. If you ever get stung, you can just reach down, squish it up, put it on a bee sting, and it's good to go. So, looks like somebody over there bumped up against a hot fence. Anyway, yeah, that wire's still hot, so I don't want them to get in the habit of getting inside that willow fodder willow orchard area. But while the sheep are here, I can't openly feed the chickens because the sheep will come and eat it. And so I decided to put the bowl of feed right over there next to their water trough. And it's a couple feet from the hot wire. And all the other birds can come and go real easy, but the roosters can't. Small man, the younger rooster, has kind of figured out the wire system a little bit better than Big Boy has. So they're still working on it. And I guess the sheep, it's about that time. The sheep have been grazing all morning, so looks like they're heading on up to the sheepfold. And they'll ruminate up there and rest up there. Sheep like to be where it's high. That's one of the reasons why I keep my sheepfolds up there. Also, once those trees leaf out, they'll have some good afternoon shade. It's also a little bit more breezy. And there you go. Look at them little munchkins. Grandma, mom, and kids. Well, lambs. Youngins. They're growing so fast. Oh my goodness. Anyway, let me get back to let me get back to this. So, yeah, I dug up this patch, which is a square foot, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, and I pounded all the dirt out of it, and I counted 15 earthworms that I either saw or pulled out of that root ball. What's my point? My point is this. I could have left this bare all winter long. I could have covered it with plastic. I could have come in and weeded it clean. I could have come in and weed-eated it down. But see, the most important livestock that I have on my property is the ecology, the microecology in the soil. Because it's the microbes and the microecology in the soil that determines the health of everything else. And so that's my primary focus. Now, I went to school for 10 years to get rocks in my head, so, you got to wonder about me anyway. But so what I'm coming through and came through and did after prayer was digging to loosen these root balls up. See if I can see it with I can see where I'm pointing with my eye, but you see, I came through with that flat-bladed shovel around the outside of these root balls for the big bunches of grass and prop them up. So now they're manageable for me to come back behind, and I've got that triple claw there, and this triple claw, where is it? This triple claw here, and I can use those to shake and pound and get the dirt out, and so I'm leaving the dirt there. Now I'm not pulling up everything else. Why? Well, as I said, plantain is a good thing to have. These other weeds they aren't, I don't know the names of a lot of them, and I apologize for that, gang. See, this is growing everywhere, and it's kind of looks a little funny because it was growing up next to the mast. But this, whatever it is, has a single taproot, so you can just kind of reach around with your finger. I don't have my gloves on, so I can't grab quite so good, but you can just reach around with your finger and pull it up, and you've got a single taproot. So even if this thing gets a little bit bigger, it's very easy to go in and pull. It doesn't provide a lot of root surface area, so it's not really doing a huge benefit, apparent benefit, for the soil. But it's got a taproot. What does that taproot do? That taproot gives me a vertical for water. It loosens the soil. And if you look at it, it covers a lot of ground. So because it's kind of a ground cover, I leave it. Why? Because it shades the soil, keeps it from getting too hot. It captures the dew in the morning, so I don't have to worry. Even though we had a really dry season last year, I didn't have to water like everybody else, because I had roots in the soil, and I had mulch on the top, and everybody else, when they walked across their grass, it was dry. Well, when you've got 10 or 12 or 14 or 18 inches worth of grass, guess what captures all that dew? Guess what lets all that dew drop down and protects it from evaporating and lets it get down into the soil? I could walk across my grass 2.5 hours after the sun came up, and I'd still have moisture on my boots. Yeah, my pants would be wet. That's why. So those are my choices. I kind of like having the plantain here. It'll grow real big, but it doesn't really spread a whole lot of places that I don't want it. It's nice to have it when you've got bees and other stuff. If I wanted to let the sheep in here or or the chickens in here, now they've got something good to eat. If my spinach doesn't come up, I've got a spinach-like green that I can eat almost all summer long till we get into the real dry season, late July and early August. So that's what I'm doing, gang. You can see it's already, some of the moisture's coming out of that soil already, because it was real dark. Let's see if we can, well, you know what soil looks like. Let me go back. I'm still zoomed out. So, it's changed that much color just in the few minutes since I dug it up. So all is a little bit of moisture there, but that's okay. There's plenty to go around. With that, gang, I'm going to get me a glass of water, because I'm about half done. And then I'm going to be planting some sorrel there. But there is one other point I wanted to make. Why am I planting things along the edges of things? Because as we are starting to learn as a global community, nothing happens without energy, right? The most productive environments around the globe are edges. If I'm not mistaken, if it's not the single most productive ecology, it's right up there, one or two. And that's an estuary. Well, what is an estuary? An estuary is where a river comes down and meets the ocean. It's an edge of a continent or an island. And the same is true when you've got a pasture and you've got an edge up next to trees. That edge area is going to be the most productive. And so why not take advantage? Why not just have a little fun with it and play with it? If I can plant something here on the edge and it gives me a small crop, and I don't have to expand the size of my garden, I don't have to do anything else, why not? So that's what I'm here doing, trying to maximize what I can with what I've got and what I can do, and do it as effectively and efficiently as I can, which for me is not always all that great, because I do have to do a lot of things manually. But there's nothing wrong with that either. It's nice to know what you can do and what you can accomplish and what you can produce if you're not propped up. If you're doing everything manually, or basically manually, and not using a rotor tiller, and not using 7-dust, and not buying starter plants every year, but you're starting to your own plants, and you're recycling your own seeds, so it's becoming more and more acclimated to your local environment, climate, microbiome, etc. You can't help but come out better. But it takes a little more diligence, it takes a little more planning, and it takes the will to try and do it that way. And most folks plant a garden with the idea of gardening. They don't plant a garden with the idea of, what can I make this produce, and how much of my food can I produce in this little spot? And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. So I know it's ugly. I should probably rename my my place, instead of Skipping Calves Farms, although I do have Skipping Lambs. It's named Skipping Calves Farms after Malachi 4, but I should probably call it, instead of Skipping Calves Farms, it's Ugly Farms. Because what I do is it is not based on appearance at all. It's based on what I have and what I'm trying to accomplish. It's based on functionality and trying to mimic nature. And nature doesn't care what things look like. She just needs them to grow and function. So with that, gang, I will wish you blessings for the day. And whatever you do, just keep chasing your dream.